In this video, we're talking to you about how to buy back your time as a contractor. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Claudio. I'm owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stud Podcast. If you don't know about WinRate and what we do as one-on-one business coaches for contractors, I would challenge you to go check out workwithwinrate.com. Workwithwinrate.com. It tells us about what we do, who we are, what we offer to get you plugged in at all different types of price points, from $300 a month to honestly 15 grand a month, depending on what you're trying to accomplish as an organization. So if you don't know what we're about or what we're into, check that out. Again, workwithwinrate.com. Today I want to talk about buying back your time as a contractor. I'm going to be talking about both the professional and the personal side of this. There's a lot of things we do as business owners and leaders and family men and family women and spouses and parents. There's so many things we do as an individual, and we have such a high expectation of ourselves to deliver on the things that matter to us the most. Buying back your time can sound expensive, it can sound overwhelming, it can sound like, how on earth can I do this? But I would challenge you to look at a few different aspects. I was reading a book recently around buying back your time because I've been heavily focused on that for years with no real specific tactical way, just like, I don't want to do that anymore. Who can I pay to do that? Can we afford it? Awesome. That's like the easy way. But like Dan Martell talks about in Buy Back Your Time, about if you can pay somebody 25% of what you make per hour to do it, you're actually losing money to do that thing. And so I don't know what that is in your world right now, but I'm going to go by each department. So we're going to go over 6 things. We're going to go over sales, marketing, operations, production, finance, and then personal. We're going to go through each one of those categories on ways you can buy back your time. So sales is pretty straightforward. If you've been out there running estimates, doing the proposals, doing the follow-ups while trying to run the business, hiring a salesperson can be a lot more affordable than you realize, and hiring a good salesperson can have almost an immediate return on investment. So look at what you're doing in the sales department specifically. Maybe it is follow-up specifically. Maybe you need to offload follow-ups to an office manager. Maybe you need to hire a salesperson or even a sales manager, depending on where you're at and how much time you are. But I would look at how much time you're spending inside the sales department and figure out what you could, because pretty much everybody in the sales department, in my opinion, should be moderate to small overhead and a lot more commission focused. So there's a lot lower risk there. Like, you can hire a salesperson for 30, 40 grand a year plus commission, pretty low overhead, pretty minimal. And that probably buys you back, 20 hours a week, depending on where you're at in your business. I mean, that's probably a completely, that's a generic estimate there, because it depends on who you are and what you're dealing with. But looking at how many hours spent, but then not only looking at how many hours spent that you are currently doing, but also how many hours are not getting spent in that department. What I see happen, people undervalue a lot, is they're doing a great job closing business in that 10, 15, maybe 20 hours a week in the sales role inside of their company, but they're not recognizing of what could they get out of somebody who is doing 40 or 50 hours. Really like double or even tripling the amount of time in that seat in a given week can just have massive, massive adjustments to the overall execution and success of the company. So look at that. How much time are you spending there? Marketing can have a number of different things. I'm a big fan of having somebody assisting with copywriting and content editing and distribution, because I have to be on camera. Like, you likely have to be on camera. You're not an expert at editing. You're not an expert at copywriting. You're not an expert at distribution to different social platforms. That's a great place to do there, because I can literally just show up, shoot, and leave, and now someone else handles the upload, someone else handles the editing, someone else handles the distribution, someone else handles the analytics of each platform. It wasn't always that way. I was doing all of that for a very long period of time, and I started buying back my time. I can't replace me on camera, but I can replace other people. So look at different aspects of your marketing. Maybe it's your website needs to be updated. Go to Fiverr or Upwork and find an editor, or find a website developer, or find someone who can do copywriting for like a project. If you're not used to outsourcing things here, I would highly suggest getting people on a project basis, not a full-time basis. Like, hey, I need to hire you to do this one thing. I need to help you. I need to hire you to help me with my website. I need to hire you to help edit these 5 videos. I need to hire you to help me create these posts or create whatever it is. Start project-based, so it's a one-time fee, not a consistent and monthly expense, and eventually upgrade to more of a monthly retainer on a more consistent, we'll say, menu of deliverables on that front. But you can't replace you on camera, but you can replace almost everything else behind the camera, from video editing, photo editing, copywriting, uploads and distribution, different channels, that kind of stuff. Operations, an office manager can be, an absolute game changer. If you're the one that's, getting the mail, checking the mailbox, managing all the emails, answering the phone when everybody calls, the main line, handling all paperwork, handling all invoices, handling all estimates, handling all, proposals or permits and a licensure and all that kind of stuff. It depends on your business, but there's people out there that love that shit. You're somebody who likely, if you're watching this, doesn't love the minutia of the day-to-day, little tasks. And so where to start there, I'd look at, for the next 2 weeks, write down every task that you don't think needs your level of expertise. It could be, depositing checks, creating estimates, doing follow-ups, answering the phone, specific paperwork, time cards, or collecting, timesheets from the field, running payroll. Those are all things an office manager can handle. Again, giving you more, not just taking time off of your plate, but putting more time into what you're best at, which helps the machine grow completely. On the production side, obviously, depending on where you are in your business, if you're a production manager, if you are wearing a tool belt still, if you still need to go to job sites, if you still need to go sit at the permit office for 2 or 3 hours, those are all things that you should be able to hire a team leader, a production manager, a superintendent, project manager, something like that in that department. Look at where you're spending your time and go out. On the finance side, AR, AP, accounts receivable, accounts payable, payroll, bookkeeping. I'm a big fan of outsourced bookkeeping because those people do it every day. They're just better at it, they're faster at it, and tend to be a little bit less expensive because you're paying for a fraction of their time. Profit Panda, if you're not familiar with, if you go to profitpandacfo.com, that's who I use and a lot of the WinRate clients utilize. They offer bookkeeping and CFO services, but find someone like you, by you. That doesn't have to be that. That's just who I utilize and recommend. But figuring out that if you're doing your books, if you're doing your accounts receivable follow-ups, if you're paying every bill on your own, if you're doing payroll, if you're tracking hours, that's again something you can even outsource at a fraction of the cost of hiring somebody. That could also be something the office manager does short term and then eventually bring somebody else in as that the machine grows. But overall, that's inside the business. On the personal side, I see so many people don't run their life like a business. Outsourcing things like nannies and daycares and babysitters so you can spend time with your spouse or spend time at home, working on your business. Landscapers, pool people. I'm sure you love mowing your lawn, but that's 3 or 4 hours, potentially a week or every 2 weeks, you'd be putting into something that's more important to you, whether that's working out or time with your kids. I'm a big fan of having service providers come to me. I think windshield time is the most useless time known to man right now. And there's a dichotomy to that. I don't leave my house that often. Sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes it creates a little cabin fever. But looking at my chiropractor comes to me, my barber comes to me, massage therapist comes to me, my family doctor comes to me, Instacart, getting groceries delivered to the house. You say, well, it's expensive. How much is your time worth? I'm not going to go to Costco. I'm not going to Costco. I'm just not doing it. That's 3 freaking hours to go to, be in, check out, get home. It's just not worth it to me. I'd rather have someone else do that so I can spend time doing what I really want to be doing. But those are things you can look at, figuring out in your life where you can start to buy back time. Again, I went years without a specific tactical measurement for this, but reading Dan Martell's book, his calculations, if you can pay somebody 25% of what you pay yourself per hour, you are losing money to do that task. And so maybe if it's something you can do or are good at, but because you can pay somebody 25% of what you make per hour and allow yourself to use that hour to make more money, that's where you can start to really capitalize and multiply. It's a big part of what's led to the growth, both financially and professionally, and as a brand that Mike Claudio and WinRate has been consistent dedication to putting time into and towards the specific activities that bring me the best return on investments. If you have questions on that, please reach out. Check out workwithwinrate.com. Check out profitpandacfo.com. Those are the 2 places that I drive people, obviously, that I care about the most. But as always, I want you to do this and be intentional with it and do it in moderation and do it one piece at a time, because every piece you plug in to buy back your time, that's more time spent making more money, which allows you to bring in more pieces. but I promise you, going after this aggressively will absolutely change your life and help you win fast and win often.